world. These are the adventures of Super Chick, and I'm Cecelia Sterling. I have a story to share. Recently, I reached out to a small firm in hopes that we could work together. And it's a great story that I'm not sharing with you today because it's still unfolding. But there was a part of it that I felt called to share. So on this path, the path in and of itself is a little longer than I had hoped, a little windier than I was hoping, as they are. And in this particular situation, I had hoped for, perceived, assumed a certain timeline, and that's not the case. And I felt all of this disappointment in finding that out. And it was a big flood of emotion, right? I'm crying, and interestingly, I am aware in this moment, like a superhero might be, of what is in my tears, like the ingredients of my tears. And there is a current insecurity and disappointment, but there is a lot of past rejection. But I don't feel rejected at all currently, right? It's not about my self-worth. It's not, so I'm able to discern some of the things that are or are not in these tears that are flowing. I am sobbing. But I love that I can laugh about it now, just a few days later. And that is a great testament to how emotions flow in waves, right? So I have this experience, and right after, I hear a story from my sister about my niece who's in gymnastics, and she fell off the balance beam in one of her meets. And she's really good, but the meets are new to her. And you remember my story about downhill skiing, right? And the girl's ski gets stuck in the snow, and I talked to her mom about the emotional resilience being one of the major muscle groups we need to grow if we're going to perform at a higher level. So I can't help but notice, again, a reminder right away that I'm having a big emotional experience, and it's kind of like falling off the beam in a gymnastics match. And I remember this story that I've read on repeat to my daughter. I have to say, I am so grateful that I read children's books to my daughter, because there are so many beautiful messages within them around resilience, coping, self-love, the growth process, right? And different frameworks to sort of try on and consider for myself, for my family, and for my daughter. So this particular one, I think it's an Abigail book, and she, I believe, is a bunny, and she is in a hurry to grow up, as I was as a kid. And she has sort of attached, or at least this is my interpretation, she's attached growing up to not making mistakes or getting better at things, or being, dare I say, perfect at things. And she's close with her mom, and her mom reminds her that growing up is not about doing things perfectly. She is in the process of getting better at the balance beam, because she also falls off in the book. And at some point in one of the meets in the story, she wobbles. But in this particular moment, she doesn't fall off. She stays on the beam. And I can't help but think there are going to be more disappointments, right? As much as I don't want to have pain and suffering in my life at all and want to just be blissful and joyful at all times, there will be moments of disappointment. And how great would it be if I could be in the present with the next disappointment, as opposed to needing all of this past rejection to flow through, especially if I'm in a business meeting where it might not be too appropriate. So while I'm being my biggest self, my super self, I am able to say that I'm grateful for this experience on the path because it's allowing me to process some emotions that obviously needed processing and release. And I have to say back to myself and to you as well, these bigger emotional experiences are part of building the coping mechanism and resilience required to perform at this higher level. And I am fully up leveling professionally. And I'm really excited about it. So I'm hoping my next time on the beam is more of a wobble and less of a fall off. But regardless, I think I'm going to be able to maintain more neutrality, self-confidence, dare I say ease in the experience of it, because I sort of had this rehearsal and I just felt compelled to share. So with that, I'll say ciao for now. I'm Cecelia Sterling, and these are the adventures of Super Chick.